Welcome to the Ecommerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience.
This message comes from our sponsor, AdScale. AdScale makes e-commerce advertising easy with automation and AI. AdScale connects to your store, helping you to create and manage ad campaigns across multiple channels in one place. From easy ad creation with 24/7 optimization to AI audience targeting and AI ad copy using integrated Chat GPT, AdScale provides everything you need to acquire more customers and increase their lifetime value. For more information, visit adscale.com.
Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome back to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast, everyone. My name is Arlen Robinson, and I am your host. And today we have a very special guest, Mounir Bouferdou, whose journey spans from semi-pro soccer and civil engineering to co-founding The Greenhouse, which is an e-commerce focused digital marketing firm. Despite two prior failed ventures, he persevered, and the Greenhouse has since partnered with over 30 brands, investing an impressive $20 million in sales. In this episode, Mounir will share his expertise in email marketing strategies that have propelled businesses from $100,000 in revenue to over $1 million. So grab your notepads and get ready for an insightful conversation with Mounir Bouferdou. Welcome to the podcast, Mounir.
Thanks for having me, Arlen. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, and thank you for joining me. I'm super excited to have you. As I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be talking about email marketing and then really how you can get explosive growth, just like you've done with some of your clients, propelling them to, from just 100,000 on over to millions of dollars in revenue, which is, not an easy task, but you're going to enlighten us on how to make that happen via email marketing. But, before we do get into all of that, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background and, specifically how you got into what you're doing today?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that was a great intro, by the way. We have a lot here that we can share with the audience and just to help them and enlighten them in terms of like email marketing for e-com. But yeah, a little bit about myself. My name is Mounir Bouferdou. I'm the co-founder and the chief of operations and growth here at The Greenhouse. It's a company dedicated to helping e-commerce brands grow with their email, SMS, and retention marketing efforts. My expertise in digital marketing has enabled me and my team here at The Greenhouse to work with over 32 e-commerce brands over the last 2 years, resulting in a remarkable 50 million in sales generated through our specific, email and SMS marketing strategies. My background is a little unfortunate. It's not really marketing, but I always had the itch, like they say, for marketing. My background is engineering. I used to be a civil engineer, but always had the itch to know and learn about e-commerce since I had a lot of friends who were in the industry. So started as just like everybody else, drop shipping. We went through the bubble of drop shipping, acknowledged that it wasn't really sustainable to grow and build a solid e-com brand, and then came across a book who taught me that if you wanted to start a business, you need to start something that you're passionate about. And then at that level, I have met my co-founder, Kerry McDonald, by then. And then we start thinking about ideas on things that we can do together to, start an e-com company, because we, at the time, Kerry McDonald have worked with a variety of marketing agencies while she was the director of marketing for a multi-million-dollar beauty brand. And kind of like we saw a gap in the market in terms of like performance, customer care, and just just delivering some really good next level strategies to help these e-commerce brand scales. We've decided to start a clothing brand, a print-on-demand clothing brand right before COVID. And the only thing that helped us scale the clothing brand, it was called Kings and Queens, was email marketing, because it was for free, but also we didn't have enough budget to play in the paid ads game. So we were very focused on content creation, organic content creation, social media. We drove traffic to our site. We captured traffic with our pop-up optimization skills. And then we were able to convert everyone that came into the funnel through good content using email, and also like a variety of organic content through social media. Within that, COVID unfortunately hit, just like every other business have experienced in the past. We had to pivot. We acknowledged that we have done enough with the clothing brand. We were able to scale it to a certain level. And the only way that we were able to do that was through effective email marketing. So we acknowledged that we really had a good power in our hand and a good knowledge that we can bless other businesses with and help make an impact. So we've decided to pivot to the service based industry, and we started the greenhouse. And as soon as we did, I mean, yeah, so the success took off right there and then, and we were able to work with a variety of established good brands at this point, and we were able to make some impact.
Okay, great. Well, that's awesome. Well, first off, thank you for sharing that. And it's quite a journey that you've had. And one of the things that I always like to hear is, founders of companies and brands that have, taken real world experiences that they've had and use that wisdom to create, a company to be able to also help other businesses. So, with you creating the clothing brand and getting the lessons learned there, then pivoting, creating your own agency to create, to help other brands do the same thing. It's really awesome. And, I love hearing those types of stories. So, it's also interesting. We're talking about email, of course, today, because, I don't know what it is, but it's like every few years, we always get this chatter through blogs and marketers that they always are saying, email is dead.
Email is dead. Email is dead.
Yeah,
I heard it all over.
I know you have, but it always comes back every few years. But we know it couldn't be further from the truth. It's more alive than ever, I think. And, you're definitely going to let us know a little bit about how that works. But yeah, I don't know what kicks that can around, but it's just always coming up.
It's so funny you say that, because I've heard it all over the place, and it's
right.
and it's what's more funnier is that we're only an email and SMS marketing agency, so we only offer email and SMS marketing. So to me, when I hear that, it's just like, okay, is our business model will die? Is that what you're telling me? But no, email is here, and it's going to stay here forever.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is that not everyone who, sees your ad on a social media platform will convert from that first interaction. It takes at least 7 touch points for every potential lead to make that decision and convert. And email is one of those channels where you have control over those touch points. Depends on the action that the lead has taken on your site, or after you send the campaign, or when you segment and you meet them at a place within that buying life cycle. And also, not to forget that 40%, like a good solid range for email marketing, for email marketing revenue for every brand is around 40%. So 40 to 30%, you can get to 30 to 40% from your revenue just from email marketing. That's a lot. That's a good solid number for every single, company and business. And one thing that I've seen over the last couple months is that I've seen brands and I've seen accounts who surpass the 40% to the 50 and 60, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Your email marketing channel is very valuable and you have some really good leads there. However, you don't really want to surpass that. And the reason why is that you don't want to put all your eggs in that one basket. Why? Because you're going to end up being in a place where you exhaust all the juice out of those leads. And what do you want to do? The name of the game here is to diversify. We want to diversify the streams of revenue for the business. So we want to focus on paid ads. We want to focus on organic. We want to focus on PR. We want to focus on, events and stuff like that, and not to exhaust one channel, because down the road, that channel might go down and then 50% of your revenue will go down. So what I say is that, use it in a smart way, but you don't want to exhaust it. But also the power of email and SMS both together is leveraging that first and second party data, like, people's like surveys, data from surveys, pop-ups, and just people's purchase history to target the right consumer with the right message at the right time. You can't do that with paid ads. You only can do that with email. So you can't tell me that it's dead.
Yeah, not at all, not at all. And that definitely speaks volumes, what you said. And it's it's going to continue for sure. It's not going anywhere.
100%.
Yeah. So if we kind of try to break it all the way down as far as email is concerned, for an e-commerce brand, what I want to see is, can we, if you can let us know, like, really, what are some of the key elements that you've seen of a high converting email campaign, that can really lead to significant revenue growth?
That's a really good question. And I'll send you this presentation afterwards. I wish if I was able to like share that with the readers, if you don't mind. I mean, can we share a presentation with the audience?
Yeah, if you have a download for them, we can definitely include that in the show notes.
That would be great. Yes, absolutely. And as far as like I'd love to share just this page here. As far as like what's a good converting email campaign, when it comes down to an email campaign, we have three things that are very important. We have subject lines, content, and call to action. So what we want to do at this level, we want to keep the subject lines very short and enticing. We want to make them very personalized at probably the lead's first name, and maybe test different subject lines to see what will work and resonate with your audience. Subject line is the front door. We need to make those stand out and very personalized so people can actually get to open the email. And as soon as they open the email, here's where the fun part is. And I say this, brands should treat their email marketing channel like a content creation machine, like a social media place. People want to come there. They want to consume a good, relatable content. You want to add value to them. And what I've seen over the last couple of months is that people kind of like neglect the aspect of marketing and sales. Marketing and sales go together like peanut butter and jelly. And I say that all the time. But unfortunately, a lot of marketers nowadays get very desperate, and a lot of brands get really desperate for the sell. They forget the value prop on the transaction. So, and you get very desperate for the sell, and you just go and sell and sell and sell without adding value to people. So when we open the email, now we have this content in front of us. We have this good looking email, or it might not be good looking. So what we want to do with the content, we want to, like I mentioned, we want to treat the email channel like a social media platform, but we want to make the content stand out. We want to have a structure to it. We want to add value to people, but also we don't want to be very salesy. And when it comes down to content, we want to have a very, very direct, enticing, and short. People don't have so much time to sit down and read a long newspaper. They want something very straight to the point. And they want content that sticks out and very straight to the point. And again, what might work for one brand might not work for a different brand. So we want to test again at this level as well. When it comes down to content, we want to test a variety of things to see what sticks out. Does UGC photo outperform a product picture, and stuff like that, to see what work and what not in terms of click-through rates when we talk about metrics. And then the most important part, last but not least, is the call to actions. We want to make those CTAs stand out. We want to make them, easy to visualize, and also we want to make them prominent and easy to find on the email. But we want to use also direct, prominent call to actions to help the reader or the lead to take that action. What do you want from them? Do you want them to shop now? Do you want them to learn more about the product or something like that? But again, at this level as well, testing is what's going to win. So you want to test a variety of CTAs at different sections and see what works, see where people click the most and what resonates with people, most for them to click and go take that action to go to the website. Then again, what I've seen over the last couple of months, again, for the last 2 years with a lot of marketers, people tend to stalk the brands, but they never study the brands. Everyone wants that shiny object that the other brand has. Everyone wants the feel and the look of Glossier's emails. Everyone wants the feel and the look of Manscaped emails. But no one takes the time to study the action that they took to receive that kind of email or to receive that action that they get from the email. So we get stuck with wanting an email that looks really good, but good-looking emails alone don't convert. And that's what I recommend, is that you have to test a variety of emails to see what will work for your brand. And also, like, without taking your brand way out of brand, and stay, in your limits, making sure that your brand voice is tempered and your brand voice is actually, reflected on the content, whether it's the design, whether it's the copy, and whether it's the segment that you're sending it to.
Yeah, for sure. It's a combination of all of those things, of course, that you mentioned. It's not really just one thing. Like you said, a lot of people get caught up on just, the look of it. They spend a lot of time with the graphics, the design of it, and if this button is this color, and those things are good. You got to have an attractive email. But at the same time, it really just depends on what your purpose of it is. Because, of course, you were saying that starting off, let's say you're going, like you said in that example, you're going from zero to, you just start a startup brand. You're going from 0 to 100K in revenue. You're straight out of the gate. You're starting to get some people to subscribe. You're starting to build up some social media followers. You got to build that trust before you try to force a product down people's throats. And so the salesy initial type emails may not be that effective at that time. So you have to be very strategic. People really, it always comes down to only purchase from brands that they truly trust and believe that are, an authority behind a specific area, and they feel that they're going to get the right product or the best product for them. So you got to establish that before really trying to sell them. So I think, those are really some
that's
that's
a really good point right there. Trust is that's the key word right there. Trust.
Yeah.
So when you're able to build that trust from day one with your consumers, they're more likely to trust your brand and become loyalists forever and stay there.
Yeah,
and that's a really good point that you brought up there, Arlen.
Yeah, for sure. And now, once you've, let's say, got an initial campaign out, you've gotten some subscribers, you're getting some initial customers, you're starting to email them information about your products, or the particular industry that you're in, not necessarily that salesy, you're just trying to educate, and then you're going to be getting people in from multiple channels. So you may have people coming in, subscribing from your website. You're going to get customers getting added to your list. You're also going to get probably some leads from your social media channels. And even maybe, let's say you take phone calls as well. You could have some leads coming in via the phone. So you're getting these leads coming in from all of these different places. So one of the things that, we kind of always hear is segmentation. In your opinion, how important do you feel that email segmentation is? How relevant is that in this overall email marketing strategy? And if it is, what are some effective ways to segment your customers to really, get maximum revenue out of these leads?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And at this level, when you reach that 100K level from email or just total revenue, segmenting is very important because it allows you to group your list into very specific categories based on demographics, based on behavior, based on interest, based on, age and all of that. So segmenting is really important. Like growing from 0 to 100, you just want to build the foundation. At that level, you want to build the foundation. You want to have your main automations, the welcome flow series, the abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, the post-purchase emails, including customer thank you letter, shipping information, delivery confirmation, and maybe a survey and all of that. But the main challenge at that first phase is to grow the list. We need list growth heavy, like you mentioned, all the strategies that you mentioned to grow the list. And then you also want to send. You want to be able to send campaigns because the more you send, the more you'll build that trust with people and the more you'll keep people active in the list. As soon as you surpass the 100K level, now you want to really think about how can we make this experience very personalized to every single lead. And what I mean by that is targeting the right lead with the right message at the right time. And if we're talking metrics, we're talking about now what are the metrics that, segmenting could impact? We're talking about average order value or lifetime value, for example. So with segmenting, you want to prioritize the people who are buying from you more recently, frequently, and at a high monetize, like at a high value, like they spend more with you. So those are your VIPs. Your VIPs are people who purchase recently from you, frequently from you, and spend a certain amount with you. Those are your top. Those are your VIPs. And same thing, those people you want to keep engaged. Those are the ones that you want to send to 20, like almost not 24/7. Those are the people that you want to send to very oftenly. And then you always want to clean your list. You want to make sure that you're always cleaning your list from dead weight. These are people who aren't engaged, people who, receive the emails over a certain amount, receive campaigns or flows or automations over a certain amount of time, but they don't take any action. So we want to keep those, we want to keep taking them off. This way they don't impact the performance of the account.
Yeah, very true, very true. And that's an excellent point, because I think a lot of brands, when they launch these these email marketing campaigns, they get subscribers funneling in from all of these channels. And I think a lot of times a brand may think it's kind of like you can run it on autopilot. You've gotten these subscribers going. You may have some campaigns going that are educating people. You've also gotten some, you get some product sales emails in there. You've gotten this flow going. People are getting the emails or subscribing. And then, you're kind of hands off. You kind of get the tendency because, with these days, everything is automated through these, email automation tools. So you don't have to do a whole lot as far as the, I guess you could say the logistics of the sending and the subscribing, all that is done automatically. So I think a lot of times brands have the tendency to step back and kind of keep their foot off the gas. But you made a good point where list management is really key. Getting people that are out of the list that aren't, opening at all. They haven't opened the last 5 emails you've sent. Obviously, it's a bad lead, or they're just not interested. Get them out of there, because it can really affect the performance of your list, the performance of your sending, and just your overall stats. You want to have a clean list, and you want to make sure that with that segmentation, as you spoke about, you're sending the right content to the right people. Those people that may have purchased maybe 3 times from you in the past month or so, they need to get a different email than the people that have never purchased from you at all. So it's absolutely, very, very important that you break down those segments.
100%. And I want to touch base on the dead weight also. Like I'll give the audience one of the secret strategies that 8-figure brands use with their dead weight. Your dead weight, people who don't open your emails, just because they don't open the emails, it doesn't mean that they're interested. Maybe they're too busy, or maybe you're not hitting them with the right message. So however, for that dead weight, what you want to do, you want to probably open a double ESP. You want to open a different email marketing line with a different provider and migrate your dead weight to it, and kind of like try to nurture them, try to talk to them in a different way, and kind of like separate that from the main domain, separate that from the main account, so it doesn't impact your performance on the main account. And try to re-engage the dead weight in a different way and leverage your testings. That's an opportunity to test to see how can you convince people who are not ready, or how can you convince people who haven't engaged with your content. Trust me, with that strategy, you will be so surprised how many people turn around to become loyalists just from that strategy alone.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. And I don't think I've ever heard that strategy before, because I think a lot of times you're naturally thinking that you've got this dead weight, these people that have not open any of the emails and past campaigns that you've sent. So, naturally you're like, all right, just get rid of them to clean the list. That's your first thought. But what you're saying is that even though there's been no performance, no clicks, no opens, you still don't want to give up on them just yet. So moving them off of your main ESP to another platform and just kind of trying different things, running different tests, different campaigns, different language, just to see if you can pull anything out of them. Is that really
absolutely? And yes, and some of the strategies that have worked in terms of that, and those are some strategies that we use with our current clients and partners here at the Greenhouse. We've seen that plain text email campaigns performed really well for the dead weight.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, a lot of times you first off, you would think that some of the HTML emails, the glossy ones, the things that are a little bit more attractive, the colorful ones, you would think those would, perform more, would better, especially for people that haven't really touched anything. So Yeah, that brings up some interesting points.
Yep. And that's what we talked about at the beginning. I'm sorry for interrupting. That's what we talked about at the beginning. Testing. Testing is very important. A lot of people talk about testing, but not everyone does testing. No one that, majority of these brands, it's hard. And don't get me wrong. We understand the pain of actually like managing an email marketing channel, like from the content creation, from the marketing strategy to the marketing calendar, to the content creation, to the copy, to the design, to the deployment, but most importantly to the performance analysis. That's where those A/B test data comes in handy to understand what worked and what not. And when it comes down to content, you have to test, you have to see plain text versus the glossiers, the good looking emails, and see what perform best and see what people actually like tend to go towards more.
Yeah, that's so true. Now, let's say we're a brand, we're at the point where we've surpassed the $100,000 mark. We're getting traction with these email campaigns. We've done the segmentation, we've done the personalization. We're nurturing things. We're moving out that dead weight. We're really starting to increase the revenue, getting, leads in from a lot of different channels. What are some other strategies that can really, some additional strategies that can really propel the revenue from these campaigns to that $1 million mark? What are some other things that you've done or that you've seen that have been successful?
That's a really good question right there, Arlen. Yeah. At this level now, you do have the foundation built in already. And then you grew your email revenue or overall revenue to like 100 or 500. How do we stay consistent? Now at this level, maintenance is the name of the game. How do we maintain the growth and stay consistent, but still grow? So list growth is major. Like we can't stop like growing our list. So if we're not growing, list our consistent rate, audience fatigue is a real thing. So you don't, and like we mentioned before, you don't really want to exhaust your list. So you always want to bring new, fresh leads into the pipeline and get them to go through the whole funnel. So at that level, what we want to focus on is the overall KPIs and the overall metrics that can take, performance to the next level. So, increasing average order values with upsell. So including some upsells and cross-sell automations, include some loyalty and referral programs to again, bring in more people to the funnel and help people to not only purchase once, but purchase 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and 7 times. Yeah. And something that was really important is the sunset flow as well. So when people get on the sunset flow, they need to be suppressed on a monthly basis. So, to just keep that list fresh without doing the work manually. So keeping, the list fresh and keeping only the right people on the main account so he can perform perfectly. Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah, that really makes sense. If you reach those certain levels, like you were saying, the main thing is that consistency, and you've got to still continue to build that list, get more people in it, and not only nurture what you have, but then continue to grow it. Yeah, because I think it's just like with any email marketing campaign. When something is successful, you're getting revenues. The revenues have gone up. You can have the tendency to pull off the gas a little bit and to say, okay, it's good, it's performing well, I don't need to touch it, but that's not the case, because like you said,
absolutely not.
If you step off the gas, that's when, people you can get that list fatigue, as you mentioned, and people can, start opting out, and that's what you don't want. So, very, very good points. Now, Mounir, as we get ready to wrap things up, I wanted to see if you could share just a small example, a case study of a particular brand that you've either worked with or that you're familiar with in general that has taken their revenue from 100K to $1 million using these strategies, and what specific things did they do that you could highlight in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, without mentioning the name of the brand, one of the brands that we worked with, and it's our long-lasting actually like client, one of the brands that trusted us from the beginning and gave us the opportunity to bless them with our knowledge and bless them with our capabilities to help them scale, because marketing is not only just marketing textbook. You need to really get on the deeps of an e-com brand. You need to get on the deeps of the business to understand how all the channels work together to pump the blood into that Shopify store. So, it's very important to understand how acquisition relates to conversions, relates to, retention with email and SMS. And as soon as you understand the landscape and the ecosystem and how does it work, you will know easily like how to make these channels talk to each other in a most perfect way. So when we started working with this brand, they had a major major challenges, not only one major challenge. They had major challenges, and some of the things that freak out a lot of brands is the sending cadence. So at the level where where we met them, they were generating about 50K from email revenue, which will make 20% of their total revenue at the time, 20 to 30. So they were around, I think, 150K total. And one of the things that majorly we found is the sending cadence. So at that level, you want to send more emails, more content to different people and try to see what will work and what not, again, from what angle, and kind of like diversify diversify the angles of content to see what people will resonate with. And as soon as we increased the sending cadence for the campaigns, and we kind of like also revamped their foundation. They built their email foundation. And when I say the foundation, I mean the automations, their welcome flows, their abandoned cart, their abandoned checkout, and their post-purchase. The company has been in business for 5, I think, or 7 years. Mm-hmm. And the main question we asked was, when was the last time did you guys update your automations? They said never, since they built them from the first day. And that's one of the things that a lot of e-commerce brands can see some impact from. These automations aren't build it, set it up once and forget it. You need to revamp it all the time. You need to, every quarter. They're not as bad as the campaigns, but you need to revamp your automations almost every quarter, because you'll have enough set of data to actually back up your strategy for the next quarter, for example. So first thing first, we took all the data from their automations, we revamped their foundation, we revamped their welcome series, we revamped their post-purchase and also their abandoned cart and checkout. And out of nowhere, we were able to get them to 100K, up in the cadence, the sending cadence for the campaigns. That added another 50K to the pipeline. So we were able to like scale them from within 3 months of doing all of those strategies. We were able to 3 times the return on investment from what they've been doing, not the return on investment. I'm sorry, the revenue that they were doing. And at that level, now that we're down to 150K, you're thinking to yourself, okay, like 150K, that's a solid number. How can we scale above that? Well, taking into consideration that their average order value at the time was around maybe $150 or, $200, we're starting thinking about strategies. How can we get them to that 600, so the 500 average order value? So we started looking into the business as a whole and what they sell, and we start kind of like building strategies around combination for products. What products could match each other, and set them up on combos or set them up on a upsell kind of like automation, if you buy or cross-sell automations. And we started seeing success with that. As soon as we got to that level, to 150K per month pure email revenue, then we start thinking about, now how can we increase the average order value, add the referral programs, add the upsells and cross-sell automations, and just let it do the work. And then you optimize every quarterly, you optimize your results, because that's where the trick is. Performance analysis, performance analysis one more time. And I think that has been the main seller to all these companies, because they have a hard time analyzing the data. Not only that they have a hard time analyzing it, there's so much going on in their business that they are trying to just stay afloat. And, coming in with that strategy and with that mindset that everything that gets measured gets to grow. If we measure weekly, we will have better months. If we measure monthly, we will have better quarters. And if we measure quarterly, we will have great years. And that's the mindset that we take into it. And that's how we make an impact within all these brands.
Okay, great. That's good stuff. And thank you for sharing that testimonial. That's really impressive. Like you said, from, just a few months of just following those main, testaments and guidelines that you guys have set. It's, they were able to see that growth. So it's, it can be done. It takes, a lot of attention, like you said, is kind of the main thing to it, and the tracking of the performance, and then being able to pivot quickly, which, unfortunately, a lot of brands don't do that quick enough. As you mentioned, when they approached you guys, they hadn't changed their automation since the inception of them. And so, yeah, and I can relate to that as a business owner, and managing our different marketing campaigns. It's a lot of times those types of things, you don't naturally revisit that often. You just kind of let it go. But yeah, you got to keep your eyes on it. And then, it does take a little bit of work. It takes testing, content creation. You got to get your writers involved, your marketing people. But these days, I think there's a lot more tools out there that make that content creation a little bit better. We've got these AI tools, the chat GPTs of the world have definitely given businesses and marketers a leg up. I would say.
I knew you were gonna go there. I was like, I knew it. The AI is out here. I knew Arlen was gonna go there. But yeah, that's a really good point that you brought up, actually, with the artificial intelligence softwares that we have nowadays and the wave, the new bubble. It's very fascinating to see what humans were able to achieve with the new technology, and how, it could definitely impact positively on every, business and every industry. However, I still believe that the foundation to these businesses is major, and AI wouldn't be able to solve it. So what I mean by that is that the foundation to every business, product development, marketing, operations, sales, if you don't have all of these kind of like departments and channels mastered, if you don't really understand how these things work together, the AI will be useless. Just get on the AI and tell it to write you like a copy for a post or a copy for a campaign or something. If you don't really have that foundation built in place, the AI will be useless. But I still believe it's a strong tool that we can leverage, to our advantage, and get a lot of like good results from.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally agree. You've got to focus on those core, tenets of your product, your marketing and your customer interaction, your customer experience. There's no AI can solve, can really do that for you. Yeah, for sure. It has to be just used as a tool. And even when you're using it as a tool, one of the things that I've seen, interacting with it myself and seeing other people interact with it is, you can't just feed it prompts, let it return content, and then just get it out there. It's not perfect at this point. And so, you can use it to supplement what you're doing, to give you good ideas. It's great for brainstorming. It's great for, generating some quick topics, if you will, as well, and then helping you kind of narrow some things down and coming up with a framework, a plan, maybe. I think it's great for that. But it definitely isn't a replacement for, doing the due diligence and then kind of following everything that we talked about, in this podcast. But it was interesting to hear your take on it, and I'm glad you're able to give that. But I totally agree with you for sure. Well, Mounir, it's been awesome talking to you. I've definitely learned a lot here on this podcast. I know our listeners and viewers have as well. So thank you for joining us today. Lastly, before we do let you go, I always like to switch gears here so our listeners can get to know you a little bit better, and our viewers.
Best part, yes, sir.
If you don't mind sharing a closing fun fact that you think we'd be interested to know.
Oh, this is awesome. No, thank you for having me, Arlen. This has been great. I mean, what else we got? The greenhouse is growing really fast and furious. What can I touch base on? Our mission is to help e-commerce. We love the industry, and we think stepping away from traditional marketing. I think there's so much that we can do with what we have currently, but also like understanding the landscape of a whole ecosystem of e-com. I think we have some new ideas to the industry. We're working on a new startup that's going to make an impact heavily on the e-com. We just want to help. We just want to help brands, and we think we have a lot of good ideas that we can bless a lot of brands with, especially during these tough times now around recession and all the things that the world is going through. What else? We have a cool team. We have a very solid, talented, creative team, and also like marketing team. And I don't think we will be where we are without our team. Our team is our most solid and valuable asset. And Kerry McDonald and myself, the co-founders, wouldn't be where we are without our team. I think they do the majority of the work. We on the back end, behind the stage, to be able for us to like make all this success come through. And I never got the opportunity to, give them a shout out from a platform, but I think today is the best day to let them know that we do appreciate them. And if you have some good employees, you got to take care of them. Sure. What else? Other than that, man, we're enjoying Florida. We're loving Miami, right. And this has been fun. It's been great to connect with you, Arlen. Thank you for giving us the platform to connect and add some value. We're looking forward to what's next.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And it's awesome to hear you give that shout out to your team. And I totally agree. The business, the founders that are the front of businesses, of course, lead the way. But if it's not for the team on the back end, that's, lighting the fire in those engines, then that's, you're not going to go anywhere. So you got to have a solid team. You got to treat them well. So that's good to see that you're able to acknowledge them.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. Lastly, before we do let you go, if any of our listeners want to reach out to you and pick your brain any more about, all things email marketing, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, feel free to contact me via LinkedIn at Mounir Bouferdou, MOUNIR BOUFERDOU. I'm sorry, I have to do it. I think it's a complicated Moroccan/French name. Or just reach out to me at Mounir at growwithgreenhouse.com. You can find us in Instagram as Grow with Greenhouse, or you can find me on Instagram as Mounir with 8 R's at the end. Yeah, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help and add value.
Right. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. I definitely encourage people to connect with you. We'll have the link to your site in our show notes as well, where people can reach out. And thank you again today, Mounir, for joining us on the E-Commerce Marketing Podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Arlen.
Sure thing.
Thank you for listening to the E-Commerce Marketing Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level, but are tired of wading through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.